Today we are facing some of the greatest challenges of our lives, from our health to political unrest, the environment, financial uncertainty, and the nation's racial divide. Welcome to Bill Myers Inspires. My idea for this show was to invite guests and get the conversation started, to take a deep dive into the issues that impact our world with an eye to exploring solutions. And we encourage our listeners to look within themselves to take decisive action to make a positive difference. Welcome to Bill Myers Inspires. I'm your host, Bill Myers, on the Inspired Choices Network. And today, our topic is, where am I? In search of me in history. And my special guest today is an Emmy Award-winning journalist and author, Markette Sheppard. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the show. And if a picture paints 1,000 words, what does it mean when you are not in the picture? When we are children learning about history, life, and the world, what are the developmental effects of rarely seeing images of people who look like you or learning stories of people who look like you? Markette Sheppard is an Emmy Award-winning journalist and children's book author. Her best-selling debut book, What is Light?, inspired children to discover the light within them through everyday surroundings. Markette is also founder of the Glow Brands, LLC, a media company aimed at illuminating perspectives around the world. She earned a Master's of Arts degree in interactive journalism from American University in Washington, D.C., and a bachelor's in communications and French from California State University, Dominguez Hills. Markette lives in Maryland with her husband and son. So if you would join me today in welcoming my special guest, Markette Sheppard. Markette, welcome to Bill Myers Inspires.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here. And I'm excited about this topic today. Where am I? And I think that for many people, it's not a thought. I mean, it doesn't even occur. It's just sort of normal. Of course, I see people who look like me, but particularly people of color, I know in my experience growing up, being, biracial or whatever, or Black, or whichever direction you want to go with it, very rarely was I able to see many figures that look like me. In television, I was very rare to see people who look like me. And I know that at a certain point, it really does point one inward to ask those tough questions like, why is that? And is there something wrong with me? Because I don't seem to be represented. I know that at the end of the day, that was a big inspiration for me to become involved in theater and music and television and all that, because it was important. I know at the core, it was important for me to look up and to do something about the fact that when I looked up on the stage and when I looked on the TV, I didn't see people who look like me. So it was a very intentional choice for me to break that cycle and to make sure that the next person who looks like me could look up and go, there I am. And so, I'm that excites me, the fact that we are consciously addressing issues like that. So now that I have blah, blah, blah enough, I'm going to kick back and I want to hear from you just on that little bit, and then we're going to back up.
Well, absolutely. There is research that shows that when children grow up seeing reflections of themselves in media in all forms, which means visual, television, print magazines, books, and audio, which means radio and wonderful podcasts such as yours. And in their learning materials, in the artwork on the walls as they walk through the halls of schools, in the basic fundamentals of everyday life, when they see themselves, it's a subliminal message that says, you matter, you are an integral part of this society. and they grow up with more confidence. This has been proven in scientific research. And me growing up, I had help. I had a mother who was an educator. I had a
Mm,
mother who was intentional about giving me a culturally rich childhood, but not everybody is woke, as they say nowadays. Some
sure.
people need to be awakened, and some people don't know what they're missing until they have it.
Right.
Okay. And when I became a mother and I started looking for baby books for my son, book after book, I was let down. I was disappointed as a parent because I wasn't seeing in the baby books what's reflected in my everyday life when I go to the grocery store, my neighborhood, my neighbors, the people who I know and who I love and who I've built bonds with of every single background in the world. They weren't in the baby books being published and be available in bookstores. So I said, if not me, then who? And if
Yeah.
not now, then when? And I started writing children's books.
Yeah. That's really wonderful. So there's purpose in it, I mean, real purpose, and it serves a lot of people's need, as you had just described. Now, I want to back up a little bit because we will come back to this for sure, but I want to back up to your specific background as an Emmy Award winning journalist. So, sort of tell me, as a, whether that seed was planted as a little girl. I mean, some ambition. I'm going to be some actress, or what is that set you off on your journey, and then we'll double back to how you become an author. So I want to start with this Emmy Award winning journalist thing because that caught my attention because I happen to have one of those coveted little trophyettes myself. But
Let's see here. I'm there. It's right behind me. I'm so
yes,
happy and proud of the Emmy because from a very young age, I'd say maybe 10, I remember my family getting a camcorder and me telling my dad on the front lawn, can I do a news report? And God bless him. He pretended to be a cameraman and would do little videos for me, and I would tell stories about the neighbors and our friends in the family, and tell little stories. I don't know where it comes from. I guess you could say it was a calling. I can't point to a female journalist who I looked at and said I want to do that. I
mm-hmm.
just remember my family getting a camcorder in the late 80s. It actually was like the 90s, because I was 10. So yeah, it was the 90s, and I just grabbed a microphone and I just started going for it. And
That's great.
I haven't looked back. The Emmy Award is great because, as you know, Bill, another Emmy Award winning performer, the industry votes on these accomplishments.
Mm-hmm.
So my best work is sent around the country, and people who I don't know, but who are professionals in the news industry and in the arts and entertainment industry, they vote on my performance without knowing me, just strictly without having worked with me. They strictly look at my tape, as they say, they look at my game day tape, and they vote. And so
Yeah.
I was nominated 2 times. I won one. And to me, it was outside validation for me following the calling in my heart, which was to present information and to inform and make an impact on society through storytelling.
Yeah. And that's so awesome. So where were you working when you were doing this?
I was at the CBS station in Washington, D.C. I helped launch a morning show there. I had worked on
Oh,
a morning show prior, and I had been just going up and down the East Coast hosting shows and getting in front of cameras.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was a New York based movie correspondent for a while. I hosted local shows. At DC's public access channel. I just anywhere I could host a show, I was there.
Right, right.
And that landed me at the CBS station in Washington, D.C., where I helped launch a show thanks to a very good friend who had worked with me on a prior morning show. And I wasn't even looking for the job. And she called me and said, I was in a meeting. They're going to start a morning show. I went to your YouTube, showed them your reel, and get in here. And within 48 hours, I was sitting in the office of the president of the station. And the funny thing was, I just had my baby around the same time I started writing children's books. And I was kind of anxious to get back home because the interview came out of nowhere and I wasn't prepared. And they thought I was playing hard to get, but I was like I was, 40 pounds overweight. I was extremely tired from not sleeping, from taking care of the baby. I was at home and I was just trying to get some rest. And they said, okay, we like you. We want to hire you. It was totally a God-given experience because I didn't even know the job was available and didn't try because I was coming off of having a baby. 40 pounds overweight, hair, makeup, nothing done. And the president at the time says, I like you. I want to hire you. You don't look like Erin Andrews. Women at home are going to love you. And I was like, okay, great. Call me, gotta go. And I really wasn't playing hard to get. They called me. We launched the show. Sadly, the president who hired me and worked with me there, who I could just go into his office and talk to him and go through ups and downs with, he left about 2 years later. But I'm so grateful to him and everyone who was involved in the process of bringing me in because they wanted a real woman. And that's who they got. And that's why I feel like the industry recognized me for my authenticity and realness in storytelling.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you are a real woman. I mean, so
with curves and
and all that. That's awesome. So, but it is interesting that the way that came about is some sort of odd. The timing was incorrect. I was not prepared. So many things in my, background also were like near misses. I mean, things that I went, oh, I'm not gonna, I'm not even thinking about that. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes there's something serendipitous about you being preoccupied with something else while the miracle happens, because so much of the time you sit up biting nails, wanting something so badly, and you're not going to get it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I really do appreciate the, it seemingly random, but it is not. It's wonderful how that all works out. So now you are doing a morning show, and you are obviously there for more than 2 years, as you stated that when the president who hired you had left. So you are obviously working well with others, obviously enjoying a pleasant working environment and so on. And so talk to me about this. And then there's buzzes or nominations of Emmys, and let's get to that because.
Well, yes, so ultimately I stayed for 4 years. And what I really, for anyone listening, especially young women who aspire to be in media and broadcasting, I don't want to sugarcoat it. Mm-hmm. It's a very competitive environment. And Bill, most people on the street, they have the same conclusion from the outside looking in, that everything's wonderful and everybody's nice, and you're building this great piece of art through your storytelling that is a morning show program. Mm-hmm. And as grateful and so many highs and wonderful opportunities that came from that, make no mistakes about it. Broadcasting, media, working in TV, especially as a woman of color, is a highly visible, highly competitive, cutthroat industry. And, I always struggle with, meeting life at life's terms, as opposed to meeting life on my terms. Mm-hmm. And the realities of life are, it's harder for mothers. It's harder for women of color. It's harder for women of color. The darker your skin, there's less of you on TV. Wow. It's harder when you're good. The better you get, the more awards you get, the more competition starts coming your way. The air gets a little thinner at the top, but the challenge in all of that is to see the blessing and the opportunity. Everybody who challenged me and made it difficult for me, thank you if you're listening. You made me a better person because I rose to the challenge. And I won that Emmy under intense, immense pressure. Coming to work, car broke down and had to call the tow truck and Uber the rest of the way to work.
Yeah.
Getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning for 4 years. Coming to work with $1,000 dress on and dried oatmeal because I fed my 10-month-old and it's messy. You know, it's a sausage factory, right? It's messy. You don't want to know how that sausage is made, but you love the sausage. You love it.
Yeah,
and that's
awesome.
what TV is.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear you tell it like it is, because you are singing that song in the right key. I'm not kidding. So, but we're going to take a break right now, and I am happy to have with us today Markette Sheppard, and she is an Emmy Award winning journalist and children's book author. And we will continue our conversation with Where Am I in just a moment. You're listening to Bill Myers Inspires right here on the Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
Today, we are facing some of the greatest challenges of our lives, from our health to political unrest, the environment, financial uncertainty, and the nation's racial divide. Tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Bill Myers Inspires, as he and his guests take a deep dive into the issues that impact our world with an eye to exploring solutions. Emmy Award-winning actor Bill Myers is an accomplished actor, jazz musician, filmmaker, writer, educator, and speaker. As a biracial man who's both black and white, Bill leverages his background, talent, and voice through creativity, compassion, and connection as activism for social justice to focus on uniting the divide and compelling change. Bill Myers Inspires encourages listeners to look within themselves and take decisive action to make a positive difference. For more information, visit his website, BillMyersInspires.com, and sign in for the latest news and updates.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
You're listening to Bill Myers Inspires here on the Inspired Choices Network. We're here every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for joining us. And now, let's get back to the conversation. We are back. You're listening to Bill Myers Inspires. I'm your host, Bill Myers. And today we're here with my special guest, Markette Sheppard. Markette. So
yes, now, Bill.
You know, I am very curious about something here, and that is, so we've talked about the competitiveness of this. We've talked about the cutthroat nature and how it gets a little tougher the more you sort of ascend that, ladder of success, as it were. So can you share with me your experience and perhaps how your day-to-day in working relationship with your colleagues at the station, at the network, may have changed when you won the Emmy Award, or maybe not, but I know for me, there was a change. There was a change. So I just want to ask you, did you detect a change in the way in which you related to your colleagues, or they related to you? Was there?
Well, I will say, the frog is in the pot, right? And it doesn't even know it's being boiled because it's the heat rises so gradually.
Right.
That is, you're in a pressure cooker. Whenever you're on an ensemble program, a morning show like The View, or like the morning show I was on, and then you have an element of being the only African American face on the show. I can tell you with confidence, if you look at any program, that African American person is having a 100% completely different experience than their Caucasian counterparts. They are, and especially when you have elements of lack of diversity at the top. I'm talking about from the corporate boards and the chairs to presidents of media companies, and then on to management. Lack of diversity in all aspects, right? Racial and ethnic diversity, gender diversity, parenting diversity. There's so many things that lack with key decision maker roles at the very top of corporate entities, especially in media, that contribute to challenges. So I'll say that. So it wasn't that I won the Emmy and a light switched and I was treated differently. In retrospect, I really think that they hired me having, not a ton of experience hosting live morning TV. They liked me, but I don't think they were expecting me to excel.
Okay.
And I saw the opportunity for what it is, and I gave it my heart. I gave it my blood, sweat, and tears. There were mornings, I woke up 5 o'clock every morning, was at work at 7. I had some colleagues stroll in 45 minutes late, and come in talking about their problems. I was always there on time. I made every show. Sometimes my car would break down, or I was one time I was rear-ended. I exchanged information, called the police, got to the show on time. And so I think I came in not being a contender, and then I became a contender.
Right.
And I'm that girl to beat, know. So things do change a little bit. I made some very good friends who I believe will be lifelong friends. And then you have challengers and competitors. Yeah. And that's just the nature of the business.
So would you say management basically, took the risk hiring you with a low expectation?
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Or something like that. And so that'll work.
Managed the president of the station who hired me believed in me. I'm forever grateful for him.
Okay, that's awesome.
And just, he was a great guy. I went over his house. We had parties. If I stumbled, he'd wag his finger, give me some tough love, and move on. Right. His name is Mark. He's Caucasian. So I'm speaking of diversity, not saying that it's, like, you never know who's going to give you a blessing. In that case, it was a Caucasian man who came from a sports background, and he gave me a huge blessing,
Absolutely.
So the president of the station who hired me, I'm forever grateful. And I do believe that he believed in me. Yeah. A lot of the competition comes from people who are your direct counterparts, who maybe they don't like the show they're on. They want to be on your show. Gotcha. Or people who aren't hosting, they're out reporting, they want to host.
I got you.
So the people who want your job.
Right. Oh yeah. There's always somebody standing in the wings, with an intention.
Right. They're just like waiting for you to go on vacation, waiting for you to have a sick day.
Exactly. No, I got you there. So that's really cool. So I am, so now talk to me about, when does that time in television and hosting your show, and when does that come to a conclusion, and how does that come about?
Yeah, so like I said, there was a change in management, and I stayed working with the new management for 2 years. The leadership style was different, and I came to the realization that I'm never going to have my own show. The person who hired me in that room when I was a new mother said, in 2 years, it's going to be your show. We're just launching it. You're going to have your own show. There was a plan for me. that person, that wonderful, Caucasian white man, right? You never know when your blessing is going to come. So I just want to make sure I'm equal in saying, there are allies in every age group, category, ethnicity. So that's why I'm saying that. But he did not make it with me on the 2-year journey, And so I'd say the last 2.5 years, it was new management with a different vision. And I realized that, while they re-signed me and they respected my work, I won my Emmy under the new management. I was never going to have my own show there. I was never going to be a leader. And I had a desire to grow in a leadership position. So ultimately, I left and I went to work for a client where I could be a vice president of marketing and digital and PR and grow my leadership skills. And I like, being a leader. I enjoy organizational development. I enjoy having an influence over workplace culture. I enjoy letting employees and staff know who work with me, around me, and for me, that they matter, their culture matters, and that I can help them work in a safe place, in a safe space where you can come as your authentic self. That is not a vision of many leaders.
Right.
And I realized, not sitting in the leadership position, that I wanted to be the change that I wanted to see. And the only way I was going to do that was by rising up the corporate ladder.
Right. And you're really tapping on something here, which is the rising up the corporate ladder, which also has to do with compensation as well as responsibilities and things like that. But I just want to touch on that because that's when you can feel the pinch of when you see colleagues or people around you excelling, meaning in compensation terms, and you're still sitting at idle, kind of wondering what's going on. You know what I mean? So I don't know, that also is yet another way in which we can feel that if we know that we're not going to be able to elevate our position, which then comes with an elevated salary, so at some point that kind of that the pinch is
I will say too, I am someone, and I've always been this way, I always fight for my money. And I did find out one of my colleagues made substantially more than me for the same job, and you go in and you fight, and that's what I believe in, and I've always believed in that. I negotiate, you ask for a raise. Maybe I didn't get equal pay, but I got my raises. Okay. And even when I left, they offered me a nice salary, and I asked to pour a little more sugar on that salary, because I believe in going after what I want. And too many women are silent when it comes to salary negotiations. We can do a whole new show on that. But what I will bring it back, which is my walk in life, I truly believe as a storyteller, as a TV host, as a children's book author, my walk, my message, my universal message that is weaved throughout every single story I tell is believe in yourself. You have a light inside of you that is unique to you. Okay? Shine your light. Know that what you have inside of you in your mind has value, and part of me believing that has been asking for what I want. Dreaming a dream that's bigger than being a local TV show host, which is a great dream. And I lived that dream, but I had another dream to be vice president, and now I'm being considered for CEO roles, because you can live the dream. And once you aspire and you achieve that dream, you can live a bigger dream and you can get paid for it.
It's about getting paid for it too. Yes, indeed. Well, it's funny that you keyed in on a phrase, believe in yourself. And when we come back from the break, I will tell you the magic and what you just sort of keyed into, which is actually relative to the show that I did last week with the president of Optimist International, Mark Weinsoff. He had invited me to participate in an international music competition that they held last week. And it was for, young people up through high school age. And he asked me to be the guest speaker and to deliver some inspirational words to those folks. But anyway, I'll tell you about that when we come back from this break. And, but yeah, believe in yourself is key. So yes, indeed, you are listening to Bill Myers Inspires, and I'm here with my special guest, Markette Sheppard, who is an Emmy Award winning journalist and a children's book author. And our topic of our show today is, where am I? And so in search of ourselves and people that look like me and we in history. So we will be back in just a moment. You're listening to Bill Myers Inspires. Please hang in there with us and we'll be right back.
Today, we are facing some of the greatest challenges of our lives, from our health to political unrest, the environment, financial uncertainty, and the nation's racial divide. Tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Bill Myers Inspires, as he and his guests take a deep dive into the issues that impact our world with an eye to exploring solutions. Emmy Award-winning actor Bill Myers is an accomplished actor, jazz musician, filmmaker, writer, educator, and speaker. As a biracial man who's both black and white, Bill leverages his background, talents, and voice through creativity, compassion, and connection as activism for social justice to focus on uniting the divide and compelling change. Bill Myers Inspires encourages listeners to look within themselves and take decisive action to make a positive difference. For more information, visit his website, billmyersinspires.com, and sign in for the latest news and updates.
You're listening to Bill Myers Inspires here on the Inspired Choices Network. We're here every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for joining us. And now, let's get back to the conversation. You're listening to Bill Myers Inspires. I'm your host, Bill Myers, and I'm here today with my guest, Markette Sheppard. And before the break, you mentioned the importance of believing in yourself. So now let me tell you the story about believing in yourself. So when I was speaking to Mark Weinsoff, president of Optimist International, about the music competition, and I kind of told him when he told me what it was he wanted me to do, I said, let me send you a link to something and see if it, hits you in the right space. And the link was to a sort of a TED Talk speaker series called Walk the Talk that was here in Indianapolis, Indiana, hub of the universe. And I participated in that. And the theme that evening was positive thinking. And the title of my talk was Believing in Yourself. Because, and I am affiliated with the Optimist International organization as a member and a past president of a local club. But when I think about the power of positive thinking, the one element that I think is number one, because I don't think you can get past number one to get to number two or three. And I believe number one is first to believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in you, nobody else will. If you don't believe in you, then everything else past that point is phony baloney, pipe dream, discounted by you. Not you, forget about anybody else weighing in. You've already negated it, whatever that desire is, because you said no to yourself. So being able to say yes to yourself by fueling it with the energy of, and the light, as you say, to believe in yourself, I think is so vitally important in life itself and just moving forward. So anyway, now I'll shut up, but I just wanted to share that with you because I very rarely hear someone say that. And when they do, it's like ding, 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 ding. So,
Well, that's why I decided to write children's books for babies starting out. So my first book, What is Light, is a baby book. It started out as a board book. It did so well. They reprinted it as a picture book because what I learned working in broadcasting is that it's hard to change a bunch of old folks' minds. So I'm gonna start with some fresh, clear slates, which are children. And then my second book, My Rainy Day Rocket Ship, is about 5 to 7. It's the same thing. Make your own fun. You can create your own universe.
Hold that up again.
Wonderful
Don't
world. Mind. Yes, My Rainy Day Rocket Ship here.
Yeah, you're covering up that wonderful illustration of
He's
that.
So happy, right?
Yeah.
And
cool.
And then my third children's project is a set of ABC cards with every single letter has an affirmation at the bottom telling you and showing you that you matter in this world. And it's all a positive affirmation there. And, I don't know why, but I was born with this innate sense that I mattered and that I deserved, the best. I deserve nothing but the best. And the trick, right? The life's trick is that I grew up with all of these challenges, Mm-hmm. I grew up where, there was some negativity. There were some unhealthy relationships in my household where, it could have been PTSD from parents who grew up in the 70s and through racism. I don't know what it was, but nobody could tell me I was less than how I felt I am. And then you grow up and life presents you with all types of challenges. I'm a happy person because I know who I am. I know the world that I have created for myself within my home. I have a safe and happy and loving home. I love being Black. I love my skin color. I love my husband. I love my son. The challenges in the world, right? Because I've done the work in being a healthy person on the inside. The challenges in this world start when I open the door and I walk out, and maybe I come across a racist, or I come across a misogynist, or somebody who's having a bad day or who's been hurt in life. And so they process that by hurting other people. Okay. And so my wish is for people, and that why I started writing all the children's books, and the different things that I have here, is because I want to tell people, hold on to your light. There's a lot of things that could dim the lights, could turn out the lights.
Such as,
just experiencing racism can be, and maybe not even knowing in the moment it's racism, and then a few years later, you're like, that's why I didn't get that promotion. That's why I wasn't chosen for that job. There are so many ways, or someone treats you bad and you don't know why. A traumatic event happens to you and you can't explain it, and that is life. And what I have seen is that through my own experiences, right? I don't want to be preachy here because everybody's life is different. When I handle the hard times better, I do better in life. I come out, it's like a diamond that's being shined and found for instance, dealing with haters, so to speak, especially after I won my Emmy and I'm acting happy and they've just been trashed to me. And then they're scratching their head like, I was just trashed to her. Why is she still happy? That helps me win. I'm like, oh, let me practice being a bigger person. Thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to practice being the bigger person. That's all you did for me. So the next time that happens to me, I'm bigger, I'm better, I'm stronger. You are exercising a muscle for me because the lights are turned on for me. I know my light. I know what I have to offer. I know I put out goodness, right? And I want to tell people, find your light, find your goodness. What is your light? And then when the racist, the misogynist, the rioter or the looter who's, telling you they have more rights to be in this country than you do. And the truth is we all have rights to be in this country, right? We all have roots that go back 5 and 6, 100 years, some people thousands of years, you know?
Sure.
When you encounter those people and you see those headlines, you're like, oh, I feel sorry for that person because they don't know what I know. They don't have the cultural breadth of experience and knowledge that I have. So that's where I'm coming from, is don't let these knuckleheads get you down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you go out there, you make your money, you ask for what you deserve. You insist people see your value and see your face and respect you and all of the experience and background that you come with, and you move forward. That's what it's about. And with babies, you know, I recommend anyone start with the baby book. If you're like, you know, get all of my books, but if you just want to start with one, start with What is Light. Because not only is it a great message for babies, it's a great message for anyone to let, you know, this message sink in. You have a light. Light comes in many forms. Let it shine. Let it shine.
That is awesome. You know, and so I want to also congratulate you on your authorship, your children's books, and also to congratulate you because you are with one of the bad boys, Simon and Schuster. That is no easy feat. So I know that though that your books are published with Simon and Schuster, and I want to make sure that people know that because you can actually go on to the Simon and Schuster website. I did actually went on to the Simon and Schuster website, not only to see your bio and to see your smiling picture and all that, but also to see your books can be purchased there, and I'm sure everywhere else. But I just want to make note of that because that is no easy feat. And so I'm sure, and again, being a woman and a person of color and being able to be picked up in that environment is, again, competitive and tough. And so congratulations on that.
Well, thank you very much. I do want to say the books are with Simon and Schuster, one of the biggest publishing houses in the world, which means the books are available everywhere.
Absolutely.
And one message I want to say is too, on the next step is when you believe in yourself, and then be so good that nobody can deny you, right? You know, I didn't write a book and beg people to publish my book. I wrote the book and I sent it out with confidence, knowing that I wrote and rewrote my manuscripts until it was as good as I can get it. And in this world, it serves everyone. Be as good as you can be, and so good that nobody can deny you. And while I'm blessed and I'm happy that Simon and Schuster has me, they have something special in me too. They're getting something out of having me too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, you hit on that. I mean, you know, Dr. King said, you know, even if you're a garbage worker, you know, be the best garbage worker in the world, that no one, even those that have been born and not even born yet, none of the above will be better than you. And so that is huge. And I firmly believe that. Now, when we come back, and we'll be hitting into our last segment, but I do want to make sure that we look at your last installment in your writing, which are those flashcards, which are not under Simon and Schuster, which take us to another place. So as bad boys as they are, you're right. You got some pretty significant game yourself because you published these yourself.
I did. Are we coming back from commercial and talking about it?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. But you know what? Let's talk about it a little bit now because it appears like I've got a couple of minutes. So
pick a letter, any letter. Pick a letter, any letter, Bill.
Well, let's start with A because that's Apple 9 times out of 10. But what does this say?
A is for Africa, spanning from sea to shining sea. And for people who can't see this or they don't have the flashcards, it's a woman raising up her hands, dancing, experiencing the joy of the motherland.
That is awesome. That is awesome. You know, and yeah, I mean, what a great idea. I mean, as a former teacher myself and dealing with, you know, child development issues. And I think that's important. Again, where am I? When I look at these books and I see an apple, when I see this, when I see all these things, I'm not seeing me. So again, you're tapping into answering that huge question and addressing that huge problem of where am I? And so being able to embrace the pride and of heritage and peoples and get past the very narrow narrative that we are all taught, this cookie cutter mentality that there's a whole world out there. And so being able to use that to explode the imagination and to shore people up, I think is huge. So,
well, I'm so glad you chose A, Bill, because A is for Africa. No one's origin story starts in the United States. The origins of man are in Africa. And particularly, I want to share this message with African-American children that children, if you're listening, your origin story does not begin with slavery. That is a blip on the radar of human history. There is a rich history where universities, societies, civilizations, advancements in science and math and cooking and art, they were created in Africa by Africans before slavery. But without intentional parents and teachers, they will have you believing throughout your entire academic career that Black history started with slavery, and it did not.
there you go. There you go. Amen. Amen. So now we're going to hit that break, but you are listening to Bill Myers Inspires with my guest today, Markette Sheppard, and we are exploring where am I? And she is answering that question as an author, as a storyteller, and just overall light bearer. So she's doing the good work. So we'll be back in just a moment.
Today, we are facing some of the greatest challenges of our lives, from our health to political unrest, the environment, financial uncertainty, and the nation's racial divide. Tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Bill Myers Inspires, as he and his guests take a deep dive into the issues that impact our world with an eye to exploring solutions. Emmy Award-winning actor Bill Myers is an accomplished actor, jazz musician, filmmaker, writer, educator, and speaker. As a biracial man who's both Black and white, Bill leverages his background, talents, and voice through creativity, compassion, and connection as activism for social justice to focus on uniting the divide and compelling change. Bill Myers Inspires encourages listeners to look within themselves and take decisive action to make a positive difference. For more information, visit his website, billmyersinspires.com, and sign in for the latest news and updates.
You're listening to Bill Myers Inspires here on the Inspired Choices Network. We're here every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for joining us. And now, let's get back to the conversation. We are back, and you're listening to Bill Myers Inspires. I'm your host, Bill Myers, on the Inspired Choices Network with Markette Sheppard. So, Markette, is your son around?
My son, Wesley, he's around. He's playing. Are you around? Yeah. Do you?
I just want to say hi to him real quick.
Wesley, you want to say hi on the radio show like we talked about? Okay. Wesley is my director of sales. Back when the world was open, I would do book programs, and people would chat with me. And if they got a little too chatty or went on too long, he would say, "So are you going to buy a book?"
I love it. I love it.
Come here. Say hi to Mr. Bill. Hi. But wait, hold on. Now be your charming self, okay?
Hi.
Hi, Wesley. There you go. I can see the top. Wesley's got eyebrows, and that's all. There we go. How are you doing?
Good.
Excellent, excellent. So you are your mom's manager, a sales agent here. So if it's not about buying the book, you don't, move on. Is that what it is?
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
He's my director of sales here.
Director of Sales. Well, it's good. It's good to see you, Wesley. And so I just wanted to make sure that I had a chance to meet you and to say hello.
Say nice to meet you too.
Nice to meet you too.
Can you plug my book or anything? Drive Home the Sales.
Where
can people get mommy's book?
Amazon?
Okay, yeah. Amazon is
Amazon. Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you, Wesley. It's good seeing you.
Good seeing you too.
Good seeing you too.
All righty. All right.
All right.
See you later. All right.
He's a little shy. He's better as the muscle.
Oh, I see. Everybody needs a Guido, boy. That's for sure.
He's great as the muscle.
Yeah, yeah. That is awesome. So I wanted to acknowledge Wesley, the director of sales, and I just think it's great work that you are doing, and so I just want to tell you, from me to you, that you are an inspiration to me, and I look forward to more and more conversations with you on air and off air, because I think there's a whole lot of synergy and some other things that we need to.
You're an inspiration back, though. But isn't it so nice to be around people? You have this platform and this podcast, and you're doing great work. You could be doing anything. You could be putting together a digital play, and you're here informing, inspiring people. And I'm a listener now. I'm your biggest fan.
Yay!
Some of your other listeners are going to try to fight me for that title. And it'll be a good fight.
Right, exactly. I love it. Well, yeah. So no, I think it's really, really wonderful. And I love the fact that you started off as a youngster and then in your authorship, and through journalism and everything, it's all about the storytelling. And I believe that is that goes all the way back as far as how we educate one another and how we inspire one another is through the art of storytelling, whether it manifests in audio, television, whether it's actors, whether it's musicians, whether it's whatever it is. Storytelling is in and of itself is so very, very powerful. And I think probably the most powerful means in which we are able to convey our humanity to one another. And so I say kudos to you. And it's all about storytelling, isn't it? It's all storytelling all the time, isn't it?
It's a very important and powerful element of our society. And I thank you so much for allowing me to share my story on your show. And if anyone is moved to find out more, you can visit me and learn more about my books at markettesheppard.com or glowstreamtv.com.
Okay. And so once again, I want to let you repeat that so that people can make sure they get it.
Absolutely. Connect with me. I'm online all the time. markettesheppard.com and glowstreamtv.com. And glow is a way to help adults, women glow through life. And what is light is for the babies. So I'm going to hit you at every point of your life and say, wake up. It's time to shine your light.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome. Well, again, I'm glad that you came on here and shine your light upon us. I know that's probably some grammatical error right there, but no, I'm glad that you're here today, and I'm glad that you're able to share this wonderful message with my listeners, and I'm sure that it's going to inspire others because it's already got me fired up. So thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So we are getting close here, and I am excited about the work that you're doing, and I'm also excited that we're going to continue our conversation. So you have been listening to Bill Myers Inspires right here on the Inspired Choices Network with my guest, Markette Sheppard, today. So go out and make it a wonderful day for you and your loved ones and the people that you meet. Just share a smile with them and share your light with them. Thank you so much. And we'll be back here next week. So until then.
Buy my books.
Buy her book. Thank you. Thank you for spending your afternoon right here with us at Bill Myers Inspires. Remember, we're here every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Inspired Choices Network. Remember to take time this week to take a breath and look within yourself and figure out how you can make a positive difference in this world. Spread the word, and we'll see you here next Friday. Have a wonderful week.